playing a little play on Chanimals there with the name Chan I Am, but that is Sam I Am. We've got Asper on the Elemental Shaman, and we've got Cubsy on that Restoration Druid. Over on the right for Northern Gaming Black, we've got Jax on the Rogue, we've got Wealthy Man on the Frost Mage, and Arcane Mage, and we have Rub Cubs on the Holy Paladin.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting series, two sister teams. Let's see how well Northern Gaming Black can lead off in this. They need a dominating win, I think, if they want to take this overall. Sap early on over onto Asper, just going to be shutting him down from any potential flame shocks. Rubcub actually getting bashed by Cubsy, and that's going to stall out the initial crowd control of Northern Gaming Black for quite some time. Rubcub getting in there, getting dirty, connecting that stun onto Cubsy. Wealthy Man looking to follow that up. Good follow-up with that full polymorph. They're just unloading all of their cooldowns onto Samayam, the Warlock, and really not getting too much pressure just yet. It looks like they're actually cleaving Asper down as well. This is an insane amount of damage coming out from Northern Gaming Black, but it really wasn't coordinated well.
Yeah, Cubsy is going to be using that Heart of the Wild to increase his healing. He's going to be able to easily top off Chanimals as well as Asper. So, but that being said, I mean, Cubsy did use his trinket there, so Northern Gaming Black already forcing some defensive cooldowns out of Northern Gaming Red. Jax as well as Rubcub taking a little bit of pressure at the moment. Rubcub dipping a little bit low. Save of the Light actually not proccing on him. It's just a shield from his heals. Jax as well taking a little bit of damage. They're just waiting until they have another setup so they can keep the pressure on the Northern Gaming Red.
Yeah, they're doing a pretty good job so far, but we'll have to see how it continues to work for him. Rubcub's now caught into that bash, but nothing really follows up on that. Jax took a little bit of damage, but was able to get away, hide a little bit, and now it looks like they're just kind of trying to back off at the moment. But Asper and Samayam are just having nothing to do with that. They are just over here doing as much damage as possible. I'd like to see Samayam getting a little bit more out in the way of damage over time effects. He's only got dots on Jax and Rubcubs at the moment, and you can see how much that damage that's doing to Jax and Rubcubs, but he could be doing that to Wealthy Man as well. Go ahead.
I think they're purposely not doing that on Wealthy Man. They're trying to focus crowd control. Asper looking for a hex, and now because there are no dots, Wealthy Man had to trinket out of that hex, and I think leaving him as a CC target is very important for Northern Gaming Red, because Wealthy Man would be doing crazy pressure if they don't lock him down enough. We can see a stun out from Chan I Am, Sam I Am. He's even confusing me now with his name. We see actually an attack out from Northern Gaming Black. They've got CC, but Chanimals is actually running with an Imp Pet, so with that Imp Pet, he can cleanse magic effects off of his healer, like the stun that Rubcub has, like polymorphs that Wealthy Man has, and I think that's a great choice from Samayam. He's going to be able to support Cubsy so much more because of it.
Yeah, Jax actually having his Vendetta come up right now, so he does have a small opportunity. Cubsy and Chanimals do not have the trinket, so if they want to get aggressive, this would be a good time. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like they're going to be able to. Actually, opening up on the Asper, immediately Cubsy going to be getting that Ironbark up. He does have trinket available if he needs it. I think he actually got Imp Dispelled there. Did he just get Imp Dispelled out of Hodge? I think Chanimals is actually playing the Imp Dispel, so he's not going to have that spell lock, but he is going to be able to spell Cubsy out of crowd control effects. I think that's going to be huge. Rubcub's having to go into that bubble. A lot of pressure going out here from Northern Gaming Red onto Northern Gaming Black. Jax trying to get reconnect onto Asper. It looks like he's going to. A lot of damage coming in right now. Rubcub does have that Avenging Wrath up still. It looks like he's actually sitting down for a drink, so getting some mana back now, trying to play the long game, and he actually ended up getting around 20% mana there.
Yeah, and I've been watching Jax, and Jax just really hasn't been able to get as much done as he wants to. Every time he sort of pushes in here, like he's pushing in right now, this is what happens. He takes a big stun, and just so much pressure turns right back around onto him. Northern Gaming Red saying, all right, little bro, time to sit down.
I think that was a big mistake. Nobody really had cooldowns from Northern Gaming Black, and Jax was like, here I am! Yeah, you can kill me, here I am! And he kind of just walked into his own death. So Northern Gaming Red definitely dominating that first match. They're going to have to find a way to deal with Samayam running with that Imp Pet to remove magic of
Gaming Red.
Yeah, I just don't know if they have any other options unless Rubcub can play a different healing class like a Shaman out by surprise. I think that it's going to be a bit of a struggle for them. So let's see if Northern Gaming Black can find any opportunities here on Runes of Lordaeron. This is definitely one of the best maps to kill a healer, so Cubsy could be swapped to. At the same time, it should also make him a little bit more aware of that swap.
Yeah, we're going to have to see how Northern Gaming Black decides to open up this game. It's going to be the ball in their court. Jax pushing in right away. Sap onto Asper. Looks like maybe Chanimals will be the target of choice. Cubsy just sitting in that bear form right now. Knows that if he gets opened on, bear form is going to be ideal for him. Asper actually getting opened up onto Spellsteal after Spellsteal coming out from Wealthy Man right now. Asper completely clean. Cubsy actually caught into the blind. Decides to trinket that right away. Doesn't want to give Northern Gaming Black an opportunity to get aggressive. Uses that Heart of the Wild, empowering thoughts. But now Cubsy actually getting swapped to, just like you said. Barksian coming out. out, down to 40% HP. Ironbark, Heart of the Wild, Barskin up, still going down, 30% HP. So much damage is coming out of Northern Gaming Black right now, and he still isn't able to top himself.
Are you kidding me?
How is he gonna die?
Are you kidding me?
Dude, Rubcub actually, I want to see damage at the end of this game because I think Rubcub actually went ham. Like, he went berserk.
Yeah.
How did he die? He used every single cooldown. Look at the damage done.
Oh my god,
Rubcub,
Rubcub, man.
600.
did more
he
damage than
out-damaged
Jax.
He went full ham
I
mode.
was starting to think like Northern Gaming Black, they got his trinket. That's a great opportunity later. I didn't expect them to do it right there.
Look at that.
The Rubcub was like, no, I'm done. This is it. We're going 1-1. I'm going to at least get a win.
Rubcub did more damage than either of the people on Northern Gaming Red.
Yeah.
Well
Oh
then.
my god.
So Holy Paladins do damage. That's what we've learned now.
I think in
is
Legion they're
that
going to do even more damage.
Evolving over the past couple of expansions. It's really, really cool. But anyway, the game is about to start here. It's tied 1-1 between Northern Gaming Red and Northern Gaming Black.
Yeah, we'll have to see once again how Jax is going to open up this game. Shadow of Concealment coming out. Let's see who their target choice is against this composition. I think it's likely that they're going to try to stall out as long as possible, get the sap onto Cubsy, and try to open up onto Samayam. Samayam actually going invisible right now. Gets the full invis off. Jax, Wealthy Man, and Red Cubs are kind of committed at this point. Looks like they're backing off a little bit, just attacking Cubsy. Don't want to waste CCDRs before their team is actually out.
Wow, it was a very early trinket from Jackson. Rubcub actually bubbling. They're just going all in on Cubsy again. They're just like, we can't win in a normal game. We're pressing everything on Cubsy. But this time Cubsy is playing a Paladin, and he can just be like, no. I'm going to bubble. No, I'm taking no damage. Unfortunately, they follow that bubble up with a full polymorph, and Asper is taking an immense amount of pressure now as well. Wealthy Man and Jax, they just do a lot of damage. I mean, Rubcub as well is supporting them a lot. We can see NG Red have a lot of control over the enemy team, just locking them down in place. Cubsy caught into a full blind, choosing not to bop this. I feel like this may be a mistake, as Asper is dipping pretty low. No one really responding with any cooldowns. I guess they feel confident. Asper now finally trading out that bar skin to deal with Jax's death from above. That will be a decent trade, as Cubsy will recover.
Yeah, that was such a good trade for Cubsy in the opener. I mean, Rubcub's used, I'm pretty sure he used his bubble, he used his wings, as well as Jax using that Vendetta, so Cubsy just safely using that block. Jax actually getting a little bit low right now, down to around 26% HP, does not have Cloak of Shadows available. Rubcub caught into CC, he has no breaks. Jax running for his life right now, hiding behind the pillar, spamming out that feint, trying to get a re-stealth. Death from above coming in, out onto Asper. Cubsy popping his Avenging Wrath, gets hodged on it though, trinkets up, and Jax actually going down in the midst of that.
Jax really likes to die.
He does.
He literally was at 20% health. What should I do? Death from above into the middle of the map. Like,
he was in a very safe position, and he decided that he wanted to go aggressive and
master the perfect one-shot to kill Cubsy, I guess.
I wonder if Channels is going to be playing with that Imp Dispel or the Spellock in this matchup. It looks like he actually sacrificed his Imp there. You see it dead on the ground. So that looks like the spec and pet choice that he's going to be using. So he is going to have that Imp Dispel for Cubsy once again. So maybe Cubsy once again going to be the target of choice for Northern Gaming Black. I think if they separate their cooldowns a little bit more, they can be much more successful at actually taking down the pally of Northern Gaming Red.
Yeah, but how do you designate them? It actually looks like they're going to be going on Asper with a sap on Chanimal. I'm guessing he can't dispel while he's sapped since he decided to trinket, but he's still not dispelling. Samayam maybe making a bit of a mistake, finally removing that, but now there's so much pressure over onto Asper. He's just getting annihilated, even through the Shamanistic Rage. They drop the smoke bomb. They're going all in onto Asper at this point. They don't have enough damage, though, to finish him off. Cubsy should be able to stabilize, and now with a full stun over onto Rubcub, he's the one that's going to need to run.
Yeah, Rubcub's still taking a lot of damage, though. He could be in a little bit of trouble here. He's just trying to avoid having to use any cooldowns, just hanging onto them as long as he possibly can, and actually doing a good job running out of line of sight. He's got Cubsy just hanging out with him the entire time. There's a little sort of Paladin hangout happening over here. Holy Paladins just bumping fists while they're healing their teammates or something. Jax over here, just still putting in a bunch of pressure as much as he can. He's taking a little bit of damage, but again, Rubcub's doing a good job of keeping him alive, but now Rubcub's caught into this fist. Could spell trouble for Jax. We know Jax likes to get a little bit over aggressive, or at least he has so far in this series. We'll have to see if he's going to be able to pull back if he needs to, or if he's actually making something happen on Asper. That kidney shot comes out, and then the full sheep onto Cubsy. That's going to force out the Shamanistic Rage from Asper, but is it going to be enough? Cubsy is still caught into that sheep. This follow-up polymorph comes out as well. Asper down at 10% health when that saved by the light procs. Cubsy down, though, is going to come out of that. He's going to be able to get off the execution sentence. Asper's still taking tons of damage, though. Are they going to be able to respond to this? And looks like now, finally, Cubsy's going to get an opportunity to throw out a couple heals and top Asper back up.
Yeah, Cubsy played that kind of greedy. He didn't want to overlap with Asper's cooldown, so he gets away with the greed, and now they can play so aggressively as a result. Rubcub is kind of on the run here. He's trying to get back behind the pillar, maybe look for a Hodge. He's actually going to Hodge the Warlock. He's like, you can't dispel yourself, at least I get some CC, but doing that means that he loses any kill opportunity really moving forward, at least in the next 30 seconds. Wealthy Man's trying to set up some CC of his own. He manages to lock down a poly, but Samayam gets a lucky dispel. I like that. Wealthy Man is now adapted, so Samayam can only remove one magic effect. So if Wealthy Man puts up a slow, which is a debuff, and a polymorph, it becomes a 50-50 chance for Samayam to remove it. So I like that reaction from Wealthy Man. If he can keep that for the rest of the match, he might be able to get a polymorph.
Yeah, Jack's actually using his Vendetta as a response. Asper is going to be using that Shamanistic Rage. Cubsy as well using that Avenging Wrath. A lot of healing coming out of him, but he is now caught into that full polymorph. He does have his bubble available if he needs to get out that additional healing onto Asper. Jax at the moment also taking a little bit of pressure, so Northern Gaming Red making sure that they are getting out that pressure on the Northern Gaming Black for the time being. Rubcubs doesn't have his Avenging Wrath up for another 10 seconds, but Asper's still in a little bit of trouble. Cubsy now, his wings have faded, so he doesn't have that much healing, although he still has his bubble available. He is now caught into a full Fist of Justice. Asper's still taking a lot of damage. Jack's going aggressive as possible. Rubcub's actually using that Trinket Wings execution sentence there to keep Jax up for the time being. Rubcub's now caught into a Hodge as well. He's taking a lot of pressure. Shadow Fury coming out. Asper and Chanayam want to go super aggressive on a Rubcub's. He does bop himself, but it's not going to be doing too much against a Warlock and an Elemental Shaman.
Yeah, it's not really working out too well for him thus far. There's the kidney shot, though, coming on to Asper. They might be able to continue putting a little bit of pressure in here. They may, at the very least, be able to force out Cubsy's bubble if they can really start putting some pressure in here. The Shamanistic Rage does come out onto Asper, but it looks like they're going to get away with just using that at this point in time. Cubsy doing a good job of making sure that Asper has the heals that he needs. He did use the execution sentence on him as well, which is going to top him back up. And so Northern Gaming Red looking like they're in a really, really strong position here. Jax now, with that Cloak of Shadows active, is just chasing after Asper. Maybe getting a little bit over aggressive here again. He's down to 30% health. He's actually gonna, I almost wonder if his teammates are just yelling at him. He pulled back for just a second. He said, no, I'm going in here. I've got this. I can kill this guy. Gets knocked away. He's moving back up over here, just trying to keep that pressure going. Now Wealthy Man is connected as well. Asper may actually be in some trouble here, down to 30% health. The Smoke Bomb comes out. Cubsy uses the Avenging Wrath, and Asper is able to move out of the Smoke Bomb to start getting that healing, but is it gonna be enough? 18% health on Asper. The pressure from Northern Gaming Black is actually really, really high right now, just chewing through Asper, but it looks like Cubsy will finally be able to get a few important heals off and start to top Asper back up again.
Yeah, but Rubcub really doesn't have anything left for 3 more seconds. Can he stay alive for that 3-second window for his Avenging Wrath? He does do it. We can see Vendetta now coming out over onto Asper. Jax is looking for a kill. Cubsy, he may need to choose to bubble out of this polymorph. He doesn't want to risk a swap, but Asper needs more help. Who is going to save him? Samayam gets locked out on that Fear. He's not going to get any support. They do manage to break up the re-CC, though, which allows Cubsy to heal Asper up. Asper now kiting Jax into the middle of the map. Definitely think they're going to be looking to set up a kill on him. Jax sees it coming. This time he says, you know what? I gave you 2 free kills in this series. I'm not giving you another one.
Yeah, Rubcub's actually getting targeted down a little bit too. Asper trying to reconnect onto him. Jax actually gets a restealth. The Garrote coming out onto Asper as well. Right now, Rubcubs is almost running on fumes. He definitely is behind on mana compared to Cubsy, who isn't healing through such spread pressure. Rubcub's taking a lot of pressure right now, trying to get heals on himself. He does not have his Avenging Wrath up for quite some time. The Shadow Fury coming up. He decides to just use his bubble. He needs to get the cast off. He needs to top off his team so they can get aggressive. Cubsy now caught into the full polymorph. He's sitting on his bubble though. He still has bubble available. Asper dipping dangerously low though, using that Spirit Walker's Grace to spam out some cast. Actually gets interrupted on the Hex into a kidney shot. This could be it. Cubsy bubbling maybe too little too late. And Asper is going to go down. Northern Gaming Black saying, you know what, we're not done, and tie up this series 2-2.
Are we really going to have a 13-game finals?
Yes, we are.
We may, at the rate we're going. Well, it'll be. Yeah, it could be, actually, thinking about it. That could be a lot of games. But yeah, Cubsy was playing super greedy that whole game, I noticed. Like, he kept like just holding on to cooldowns as long as possible, and that can really work out in your favor, and that can get you wins. But I felt like in that last spot, especially, like you said,
just, yeah.
But we are into the game now. We can see 17 seconds until starting. This is game number 5, but this is a best of 7, so there's still a lot more arena action ahead of ourselves. And as the gates begin to open, I'm starting to think that NG Black have found their momentum, and they may be able to pull off the impossible in this matchup and take down Asper's Mage Moonkin Holy Paladin.
Yeah, we'll have to see how it goes. Once again, it is going to be up to Northern Gaming Black to see how they open. They do have that stealth advantage. They're going to sneak in all sneaky deaky like, and Cubsy's going to be spamming out those flash of lights to sort of give his team a little bit of a protective barrier from the opener coming out from Jax, Wealthy Man, and Rubcub.
Yep, Jax is actually not really getting too far forward here. A lot of times you'll see the Rogue moving up and trying to go for a sap, but he was looking for Samayam to move in there and start casting those blizzards. Now that Samayam has moved forward, he's going to feel a little bit safer trying to hang around next to him here. Wealthy Man now just pops out and says, here, have some arcane missiles, why not? Just going to go ahead and throw a few out of them. But we're just basically waiting at this point to see at which point these teams feel like it's time to move in. I'm actually surprised that Jax is playing so far back. I would have expected him to move around behind at this point. Maybe start looking for something. That big chunk of damage into Wealthy Man just out of nowhere. Asper decided that he'd had enough and just decided to just pump some damage into him. That was without Celestial Alignment.
Yeah, that was a crazy amount of burst coming out from NG Red, but it's expected. The Balancer just does so much damage at the start of a match, and Asper really capitalized on it. So let's see if they can keep this aggression rolling. They're staying ahead on cooldowns. It's looking pretty good for them so far. Rubcup caught into a deep freeze. Samayam looking for a Frostjaw, maybe looking for a Sheep out of that. I don't think he's going to be able to get it, but here's the Vendetta over onto Asper. They definitely want to use a Blessing of Protection to remove this. I guess they're going to trade the Avenging Wrath instead. It will top off Asper. I feel like it was maybe too much of an overlap from Cubsy.
Yeah, potentially. Overlapping, of course, the Barskin and the Avenging Wrath there. Rubcup actually having to go into bubble. Wealthy Man does not have Ice Block. He does have Evanesce, but he doesn't want to have to use that defensively. He wants to make sure he's getting the CC onto Cubsy on cooldown. The Hodge now coming out onto Cubsy. Wealthy Man maybe pushing in to get the full Polymorph onto Cubsy. Doesn't look like there's going to be the follow-up. No, he does actually get it. Gets the Polymorph out. Now Asper's doing the best he can to run away, making sure to root up Jax, and he's just going to be using all the kiting abilities he has to stay safe while Cubsy's CC'd.
It's possibly worth pointing out that both Paladins are running that Unbreakable Spirit talent, so they both have much shorter cooldowns on their bubbles. Wealthy Man still taking big chunks of damage over here, just chewing through that save by the light. He's going to get the execution sentence out from Rubcubs, but is it going to be enough? The damage was pretty scary there for just a second. Now Rubcub's caught into that solar beam. He's rooted in it as well, not able to deal with that whatsoever. He actually manages to get a Blessing of Protection out on Jax and gets caught back into a full Polymorph. Jax is going crazy on Asper right now. Asper is at 50% health. He's just running away, catches his own execution sentence from Cubsy, and Jax is actually going to use his his evasion to be able to stay a little bit aggressive, but it's not going to do too much. Jax getting so low, down to 20% health, 12% health. Rubcub's caught into a Cyclone, and that's going to be it. Jax is going to go down, and Northern Gaming Red is going to go up 3-2 in this best of 7.
I don't know if Jax likes to die, or sometimes he just can't deal with it, but he gets caught in the open so often. I mean, if he had been maybe 2 seconds out of line of sight, that would have been long enough to Rubcub to connect the heal. So I don't know if he's just wanting to be aggressive.
Can win this, and then the next one, they'll actually be our champions. So we will find out here in about 15 seconds when these gates open.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see if Northern Gaming Black can beat their sister team. This is match point for Northern Gaming Red. It's their map advantage, it's their comp advantage, so Northern Gaming Black are going to have to pull off a miracle. They did on Runes of Lordaeron, so it's definitely possible. Cubsy needs to be ready for it.
Yeah, we'll have to see how Cubsy responds. I mean, we'll have to even see if Northern Gaming Black decides to pull off a similar strategy as we're getting sapped up by Jax right away. Doesn't look like they're really opening and committing onto anyone. Wealthy Man just throwing out those spell steals, removing all of Asper's hots. Cubsy actually has no hots on himself right now, so he definitely is a prime target if Northern Gaming Black decides to get aggressive onto him. But beautiful Cyclones coming out from Cubsy. Cubsy now caught into the blind, deciding not to trinket. This is a very key moment. He's going to have his trinket available now if Northern Gaming Black decides to get aggressive.
Yeah, Rubcub's going to go ahead and use that Avenging Wrath now. Let's see if he's using it just to be aggressive. It looks like he's trying to chase down Cubsy. Asper actually used a nice Thunderstorm there to knock Rubcub's back, and actually got a big chunk of damage into Rubcub's as well. So now he may be ending up to use that defensively as well. He did throw out a couple of denounces there for just a second, just trying to stay aggressive onto Asper now at this point. But Asper catches a nice big heal with that Shamanistic Rage active, so he's going to be totally fine at this point. So Rubcub's not really getting what he wanted to get done done with that Avenging Wrath.
You know, that was kind of a creative little change of strategy. Jax used his kidney shot on Cubsy to line up a polymorph instead of that Fist of Justice, which can be dispelled. So maybe NG Black are finding a way strategically to get a kill here, and Samayam finally getting unlucky with the dispel removes the slow instead of the polymorph, which means that Asper could be in a lot of trouble here. He's trying to go for the Hex. He gets stunned again on it. Damage there to follow it up. He's in quite a bit of trouble right now, tipping about half HP, but Samayam's dispel cooldown coming back up, removing that Fist of Justice. Cubsy connecting a lot of heals, now bringing the momentum in their favor. Rubcup could be a lot of trouble. He's in the middle of the bridge, man. Everybody's just going to tee off on him. He needs to find a way to escape this positioning. Now getting cloned up, and Jax doesn't have any cooldowns either, so both Rubcup and Jax in quite a lot of trouble at the moment. Rubcup needs to fake the interrupt. He gets locked out on his first heal. He's going to need to deal with Samayam's interrupt next. It doesn't seem like Samayam's actually going to use it. I don't think he was in line of sight, but if he had locked Rubcup out, that definitely would have been the game.
Yeah, Rubcup, Wealthy Man, and Jax actually getting triple Shadow Fear there. Wealthy Man into the Hex now. He's not going to be able to help anyone. Rubcup trying to get away at the moment. Down to 8% HP. The Lava Burst come crashing in. Rubcup somehow, some way is getting some cast off. 5% HP. Doesn't look like he's going to be able to survive. The Lava Burst comes in at the very end of that game, and he is going to go down. I must say, Cubsy did an excellent